Sometimes people slide into my DMs and they ask me a very personal question. Should I quit Fortnite Competitive? And I usually give an answer that they do not expect. Because I am a Fortnite Competitive coach, you would probably expect I say, yeah, you need to grind Fortnite, it's the most important thing in life. But that's not exactly what I think. Fortnite is a video game, and most people use video games as entertainment, as a distraction. And so if you're just a casual gamer, I actually recommend that you quit the game to make more time for your other goals. But there are some players that see Fortnite Competitive as their main goal. And sometimes they'll ask me things like, is it still worth to go pro in 2026? And that's where it gets interesting, because in order to go pro in any sport or game, you will need to develop a variety of character traits. You need to become disciplined, you need to become focused, you need to have a high work ethic and grind. You need to sacrifice, you need to stay consistent and persistent, never giving up. But these are also the exact character traits that are necessary to become successful in anything. Life itself can be seen as a video game, just like Fortnite is. I'm literally working on an app right now that will turn your life into a video game where you can see yourself leveling up. And for this reason, I think that serious competitive players are developing the exact skill set they need to not only become successful in Fortnite, but soon it will translate into other areas of their life. Like if you try your absolute hardest to win in this game, I see that as a pretty good way to develop your character. As long as you don't forget that the ultimate goal is to win in life and not just in Fortnite. I'm sure that in the future you'll move on to different goals and different dreams, and you will try to achieve those with the same level of passion. But then you're gonna have more skills under your belt, like the ability to learn from your mistakes, to be humble and think, okay, I might be bad right now, but I have an improvement mindset. Networking is a skill, and finding a teammate, finding someone to, level up with. Focus is a skill, being consistent and disciplined, those are all skills. And so if you ask me if it's worth to still grind Fortnite Competitive, I would tell you that you should either just quit or you should commit. Those are the only two options, and it's your decision to make. If you quit the game, then just make sure you find another goal that you are passionate about. If you decide to commit to this game and actually try to go pro and try your absolute hardest, then I will spend the rest of this video giving you my best advice. I'll tell you exactly what you need to do in this off season right now, because most people are going to be resting or chilling and slowing down. But you could be the one that is using this time to significantly level up as a player and make more progress than you've ever seen. So let's move on to part 2 of this video, committing. I want you to look at Fortnite Competitive as a bundle of skills. There are just like a bunch of different skills, and all of these skills can be placed under 3 categories. There is fighting, there is winning games, and there's teamwork. These are 3 fundamental skills that you need to master if you want to be a pro in this game. And of course your mindset is definitely going to translate into those skills. Teamwork, for example, is not exactly what most people think. Teamwork is not just communication skills in-game and like telling your teammate, oh, we're going this way, and following your teammate. That's not the only thing that teamwork includes, although that is also super important. But teamwork starts by finding a teammate. And this is where most people already fail. They usually find a teammate right before the tournament, and then the tournament doesn't go that well because, they found a last minute duo, and then they drop that duo because it did not work out. And then they just repeat the process, looking for players, with the highest PR possible right before the tournament, and then, it doesn't work out because you don't have chemistry. You just drop that teammate and you switch to a new one. This is a big loop that a lot of players are in, and they never just stick it out with one single teammate to improve and level up with. I think loyalty is a very underrated skill that, most players lack, and it's very important for teamwork. If you can find a teammate that is around your skill level and has kind of the same mindset as you and the same goal to go pro in this game, then dropping him for a higher PR player or dropping him because he messed up in one tournament, it's kind of, it's kind of a waste. Teamwork means to help your teammate fix his weaknesses. If you notice your teammate is lacking fighting skills, the best thing for you to do is just, stick with that teammate, but help him improve his fighting. Maybe you can send him some videos. Maybe you can, tell him to play tokens more, play tokens together more, I think investing in someone that you grind with consistently for a very long period of time, maybe like a year or maybe 2 years, I think that has crazy benefits. And if you stick with a teammate long enough, you're automatically gonna build all of the chemistry and, like the synergy in game. You're gonna just adjust to each other's playstyles. And that's also gonna make you play 10 times better. Just think about the duo Sky and Scroll. They are obviously one of the best teams, if not, they are one of the best teams, to play this game. And they have literally been playing together since 2020. Almost every single tournament they've played with each other. It's a perfect example of why you need to stick with a teammate, because it has so many benefits. If you consider yourself a bit more of a fragger and you have very good fighting skills, then you gotta find your Sky, find your IGL. And if you're an IGL, find your fragger. Together, you're a team, and teamwork is gonna carry you to the top. Because grinding with a teammate will also help you become way more consistent with your practice. Because you kind of rely on each other to, play scrims and play tokens. If one guy doesn't show up for scrims, then the other can't play scrims either. Some of you watching have already found that teammate for yourself, and that's amazing. But if you don't have that, it is definitely worth finding. And please don't assume that I'm talking about anyone else but you. The one that is listening to this video right here, just look around, there's nobody around, it's just me and you. I want you to take this advice, not anyone else. I'm not talking to 1,000 people. I'm talking to that one player that is listening to me right now and still hasn't found that teammate. Just do it, it's worth it. Do not ignore this advice. If you want, you could also look for a group in my Discord server, where you can maybe find some teammates that have a bit more of the same mindset as you. I'll leave a link to the Discord in the first link in the description. And if you're scrolling down anyways, you might as well subscribe for more amazing videos like this. Now let's move on to the skill of winning games. If you want to make an insane amount of progress in the next few weeks, then here's what you need to do. First, make sure you have a teammate, because that's pretty important, right? The second step is to VOD review all of the tournaments you've played so far. All of the tournaments that are still available in replays. If you're an Academy member, by the way, you could also come to the VOD review sessions with me or Chris. And then we'll also give you feedback. But the most important thing is that you make a list of all of the mistakes that you are making. All of the problems, all of your weaknesses. And then you should probably rank them from, most important to least important. So let's say you die, off spawn 5 out of 10 games, then maybe it's worth for you, to fix your off spawn. That is a top priority. If you die in mid game, maybe 2 games, then, it's not the biggest priority at least. It doesn't matter where you make this list. You could, for example, make a improvement server with you and your teammates. That's probably what you should do. Just make a server in Discord, and then you just write down, tournament mistakes of this day, or maybe a big list of weaknesses. You can make different channels for that. And you can basically use this as your improvement server. And you can take notes like the ones I'm describing here. And then over the next few weeks, I want you to play as many scrims as possible. And basically work on all of these weaknesses and mistakes. Try to fix them one by one. You basically gotta grind scrims from the moment they start hosting them till the moment they stop. That is probably ideal. Some of you are probably in school and maybe, you have other responsibilities. You don't have the time to play, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 16 hours a day, which is totally understandable. I still think, time management and limiting distractions is a very big thing. I also made, a bit of a course about that in Fortnite Academy. But when you start to play scrims consistently, you'll probably notice that you're gonna make a bunch more mistakes. And you gotta keep writing these down. So just add them to the list, if you split up in endgame, that's another mistake. And you're not gonna fix these mistakes instantly. You gotta, remove that idea out of your head. There's this saying in Dutch, a donkey doesn't bump his head twice against the same stone. It's basically saying that if you make the same mistake twice, then you're even less intelligent than a donkey. And that is not really true. In Fortnite, you're gonna make a bunch of different mistakes that you're gonna keep repeating. Let's say you do left-hand peeks in Fortnite and you get punished every time. Eventually, you're gonna stop making left-hand peeks, but you're not gonna just VOD review it and then think, I make left-hand peeks, let me just not do it anymore. And then it's done. No, you gotta keep grinding, consistently practice. That is how you improve. And then whenever you have time and there's not a scrim session going on, you should probably use that time to improve your fighting skills. And then I don't mean that you should play reload ranked. If you listen to Destiny Jesus and think, reload ranked is the best way to practice, bro, you're gonna struggle. There's a chance that I used reload ranked gameplay for this video, because like I'm dropping 20 bombs, 30 bombs, 40 bombs. It is so easy to play reload ranked, players are so bad. It is not a great way to practice, even though it's, like more fighting than ranked, let's say. I don't think ranked is a great way either. Maybe at the start of the season, then you'll definitely run into some good players. But the best way to actually practice your fighting is just to play tokens. I've done a lot of tokens in my day, but I don't think I played enough. Like, I definitely wish I had played more tokens. I would have been a better fighter if I did. Tokens is one of the best ways to practice your fighting. And the only excuse you can have is like, oh, I don't have any money. But just make some money, ask for money. Like, you need to invest in your goal. If you don't sacrifice for your goals become the sacrifice. So it might only cost you like 20 bucks, 30 bucks, to buy some tokens, and then you play tokens. And if you win some tokens, then you could even earn money. Like, there are some players that earn thousands of dollars just playing tokens. But you are probably not at that level yet, and that's why you need to play tokens. Your aim is also a very important skill. Not only for hitting shots, but also, being accurate with your edits. I think your aim is very underrated for your mechanics. A lot of players with great aim will also have great mechanics because of it. So definitely build a habit of, aim training consistently before you hop online, or maybe, at the end of the day. As long as you play kovacs or play in-game aim trainers, whatever you do, just play aim training. Aim training is important. Overall, I would aim to play at least like 6 hours a day. If you don't play 6 hours a day, I don't know, you're not even grinding, bro. Like, for some players, this will seem like a crazy amount, 6 hours a day, how can I fit that in? But 6 hours is a bare minimum, not gonna lie. Like most pro players, they play the whole day. Like, they could be grinding for 12 hours a day, twice as much. And that is why they're so much better than everyone else, because they just practice so much more. Now that's the end of this video. Make sure to subscribe for more amazing videos like this, and I'll catch you in the next one, boys. Peace.